So we've been listening to hip hop for a while.
Right.
How many quote unquote classic albums do you think Drake actually has? Personally, I'll give him Take Care. All right.
I,
I'll
I,
I'll
I'll kind of say, how many? Let's compare it here, right? Let's start with Kendrick. How many classes do you think Kendrick had?
Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
If you're counting Section 80 is a
I don't.
it's less mainstream. It's less
Right.
mainstream,
But is that a
but I would
mixtape or an album to you?
well. So for a while, I considered a mixtape, but people are saying it's his first studio album. So it's
Okay.
it's sort of it's sort of a toss up. But
Okay.
definite classics. I'll give him Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a
Right.
Butterfly, and then I'll also give him Damn.
Really? You give Damn a classic?
I'll say the impact it had makes it a classic. I
Okay.
mean, let's. I mean, we can
Okay.
go through the track list real quick and see.
I think Good Kid, Mad City had a bigger impact than Damn. I think To Pimp a Butterfly had a bigger impact than Damn. I mean, I understand he won a lot of awards for Damn. I think, in my opinion, that's his worst album. I agree
Uh,
with you. Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. I know a lot of people hate that album. Classics.
I don't understand why people hate that album. I really like that album. I think
Uh,
I think people dislike it because they were expecting another Good Kid, Mad City. It's not that. But
right,
if you
right.
listen to it for its own thing, then
And I
it's a
appreciate him
good.
for that. I appreciate him for that. Not giving us the same tired old second album. Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Let's so you for Drake, you think Take Care is a classic.
Yeah, I'll give him Take Care.
Okay. Uh I'll give Drake one classic. A lot of people are
Uh,
gonna say nothing was the same. I don't think that's a classic.
that's not my favorite album from him.
In fact, okay. I'll even okay. How many you got for J. Cole?
J. Cole. Ooh. I think his first album. What's it called? Shoot.
Sideline Story?
No, not Sideline Story. Well, actually, no.
Oh,
That
the
was a
come up and the
mixtape.
warm up? Those are mixtapes.
No, not the come up in the warm up. The
Born Center,
no, not Born Center. There's
2014,
an
Forest Hills
album.
Drive.
There's an album before that. Hold on, give me a second. And this is gonna bother me. Hold
Okay.
on.
I think J. Cole has one classic album, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And even Born Center is not a classic. I'm sorry, it's not a classic. 2014 Forest Hills Drives. I do
Cold
think
World. Okay, okay. So the original Cold World
isn't an
isn't
album. No.
okay. All right.
You talk about the is that the album? I mean, is that the mixtape with Truly Yours?
I believe so. Yeah. So
Right.
the first one. So the first Cold World I
Right.
like,
Because it was
but
3 volumes. You talk about the Truly Yours 3 volumes.
okay.
Because Cold World was on there.
All right. Gotcha.
Yeah. But J. Cole to me, I will give him one classic. But I'm
So
sorry. Uh,
you didn't like the off season.
no, no.
Okay.
I didn't like the off season.
Oh,
KOD
Friday
was
Night Lights. Friday Night Lights. That's what it
that
was.
was a
Friday Night
mixtape.
Lights.
And I said that would have made a classic for him if he made it as an album. If he would have made it as an album, that would have been a
Wait,
classic.
that's not an album. Hold
No,
on.
it's a mixtape. He can't. He bought. Matter of fact, he put it out a couple weeks before For Your Eyes Only.
No, he didn't. Hold on.
Yeah, he
Hold on.
did.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah, he did.
Because Friday Night Lights came out. Friday Night Lights came out in 2010,
Right.
right? For Your Eyes Only came out in 2016, bro. So what you talking about?
Friday Night Lights did not come out in 2010.
Yes, it did. I'm looking at it right here. You might be
Okay.
thinking of a different album. Friday Night Lights came out in 2010. Look it up. Look it up real quick.
Okay. 2010. Okay, then what album? Okay, I'm mistaken. What album came out in 2010?
No album came out in 2010. An album came out in 2011, and that's what I think threw me off.
Okay, what came out in
Was
2011?
That's when Cold World Sideline Stories came out.
I find that hard to believe because the warm up and the come up came out before Sideline Story.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. Hold
Okay,
on. Let's
okay,
let's.
all right, okay, all right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm liable to be wrong. All right, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But still, right? One classic, and Kendrick arguably has two, right?
Okay. So
So,
it's 2 to 1 to 1. I
and we're
mean,
and we're giving Drake and J. Cole that one, right?
so
I
hold
didn't
on,
like
hold on, hold on. You didn't like which one?
for which one, J. Cole?
Uh, well, J. Cole has been hit or miss for me. Born
Right,
Sinner,
right.
Born Sinner was a decent album, but it wasn't my
It was a
favorite.
decent album. Yeah, it wasn't trash. It was decent. I tell you right now, after 2014's Hill Drive, right? I didn't like
Mhm.
For Your Eyes Only. I didn't
You
KLD.
didn't?
It's okay to me. He kind of threw
Okay.
me off with the fast flow, and then the
Okay.
off season. I didn't like that album, right?
Uh,
And,
the
and
off
so let's go.
season wasn't terrible to me, and I mean, honestly, if I don't think we're counting it as an album, but I also like my Delete Later.
Thank you say you like Thank Me Later.
No, I said might delete later. If we're talking
Oh,
about
might
Drake
delete later.
albums, yeah,
Okay, okay. I don't think that's a classic.
I wouldn't call it a classic. I would just say I liked it. If we're
Okay,
talking about Drake albums, hold on, this brother got
okay,
like
yeah.
30 of them
So
joints. So hold on.
so you're saying Take Care is a classic.
Yes, I will say
Okay.
Take Care is a classic. I will say,
What about
hold
that? Did you
on,
like Thank Me Later?
Thank Me Later, Thank Me Later. Thank Me Later wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
Hold
It was
on.
a good starter album. Okay. What about
Yeah,
Nothing Was the Same?
nothing was the same. Nothing was the same. No, I like in the like when his career goes down in history, people will say, like the mainstream will say, Nothing Was the Same was like his breakthrough album, probably.
Okay.
But to me, it's not a classic.
It's not a classic. Okay.
Yeah.
Views. I will say this about Views. I think Views is it's not a classic, but I do think it's his crossover album. This is the album where he started doing different things, different genres of music. But I don't
Uh,
categorize this as as a classic, right? What
I
about you?
would
Did you like
say I
Views?
would. How did
Uh
I
oh.
feel about Views? Views was
Uh oh.
okay. Views was okay. Actually, let me pull up the songs on Views because I
That was
mean
Controller. That was God's Plan. Uh,
that was
that
Views. Hold on.
yeah, that was the album. No. I'm sorry, that wasn't Views. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have this right.
I mean, this is Keep the Family
Yeah,
Close.
that was Hotline
Grind.
Bling.
I
Hotline
like.
Bling.
Okay, yeah.
One Dance. Controller.
I would say Views was the album where I stopped following Drake as closely.
Okay, I felt like that was too long. Too long of an album.
It
Uh,
wasn't for me. It wasn't about it being too long. It was just about it. Like it. It wasn't what I was looking for. Like this is when I thought Drake was still a rapper. So
okay.
I wasn't really like this is to me, like you said, this is when he went pop, and
Right.
I stopped caring basically.
Scorpion. I will say this. Scorpion was an album where I think I wanted
It's not a
him to
bad
test.
album.
It's not a bad album. The this is where he gets his braggadocious because he had a track with Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? But Scorpion to me was just I just it's not a classic. I'm sorry. Certified Lover Boy is his work. Matter of fact, that meant to me, and I'm gonna say this: Certified Lover Boy is the worst album of that year. Is his worst is the worst album of 2021. If somebody would have
I
asked
I
me,
I
if
will
somebody
give
would
him.
have
I
asked me,
will. I won't give him the worst album of 2021, but it wasn't an album like I heard it once and then was like, okay, and moved on.
No, this was an album I heard. I was like, this is trash. This is bad. This was all you Drake fans, get in the comments right now and tell me that you disagree with me. That Certified Lover Boy is the worst album of 2021 and in the worst album of Drake's career. Point blank.
Hold on. What else
Worst
came out
album.
in what else came out in 2021 that we dogging my guy like this? Now, mind
Well,
you,
I'll tell
I'm
you
not a
right.
big
I'll tell you in a few minutes. Hold on. I'll tell you in a few minutes.
2021 hip hop albums. Let's just do this. Let's see what else came out in. Okay, so we
You had
got
Tyler the Creator, right?
Call Me If You Get Lost. Okay, that one
Yeah.
was good.
You had Little Sims. Sometimes I might be. That is a great album, by the way. Uh,
I like that album. You have Donda, which decent
uh,
album,
decent.
decent.
King's Disease 2.
Oh, ooh,
Yes. King's
I'm
Disease
sorry,
2.
brother. A
Uh,
Martyr's Roar. I have no idea who Kai is.
no idea
Um,
who that is. Let's see.
Doja Cat came out.
Isaiah Rashad's album is better than that album,
What?
right?
Clevia demo? Was
No,
that
their house is burning.
The House is Burning? Oh yeah, The House is Burning. I like
And
The
you
House
know
is
who else
Burning.
album came out in 2021 that he brags about and he talks about on the last diss track? Baby Keem. Baby Keem's album is better than that. Certified Lover Boy. You know?
Fair. I
The
can't.
Melodic Blue. So
I can't. I
I'm
can't.
calling Drake out for that, right? That
I
trash
mean,
album you put out, Certified Lover Boy, Baby Keem, who was on Kendrick Lamar's label, was better than your album, Drake, in that year. So don't give me that, right? Who else? Uh,
um,
Nas's
it-
Magic came out that year. A better album than Certified Lover Boy.
yeah, that's when Nas was sort of just doing whatever he wanted, basically.
Well, I mean, no. Let's not do that. He was putting out classics. Stop it now.
No, I didn't. I
He,
didn't say it was
he,
bad. I didn't say it was bad. I just said he was doing whatever he wanted.
right. I'm not a big fan of these two artists, but I will say Lil Baby and Lil Durk's album was better than Certified Lover Boy, and I'm not a big fan of these dudes at all. But I will say their album is better, right?
Wait, Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks. I
Lloyd Banks'
apologize.
album is better than
I did not realize you had an album come out in 2021. I might need to
JPEG
go back.
Mafia. I know you know who that is.
I do
JPEG
not.
Mafia. Oh, you need to catch up, brother. You
Okay.
need to catch
Let
up,
me
brother.
let me check
JPEG
that out.
Mafia. Right? All right, well let's get back. Let's get back to this. So we've come to the conclusion that Kendrick Lamar has two classics. J. Cole has borderline one. I'll admit that. And Drake has borderline one.
Well, I
Um,
will say if we're talking about if we're giving them the big three, J.
no,
Cole doesn't really like.
no. We're no longer calling big three. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh,
I'm saying if we are giving them, they are the top three. If we
no,
are
they're
giving
not.
them
No.
that,
I just talked about that a couple minutes ago before you got on, right?
okay.
I will say this. J. Cole is no longer in the top three. No
What you said?
longer in the top three.
You
It is
said he
now.
played himself.
It, I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm trying not to repeat myself, but I'm gonna do it here. Right? You're a
mhm.
fan of hip hop. You know where hip hop came from.
Yeah.
We're of the older hip hop community. You can't be on these tracks talking about you're the best on features, this, that, and the third, and killing everything you're on and then apologize. You can't do it. You're no longer in the top three. You're
I
no longer in the
mean,
big. There's no more big three at all.
so here's what I'll say to that. Here's
Okay,
what I'll
go
say
ahead.
to that. I will say he has taken himself out of competition from a battle standpoint.
That is a
Yes.
problem, Jay.
From a, I'm not going to disagree. If we're keeping it hip hop, I can't
Okay.
disagree with you on that. But if we're talking about from a skill slash whose name rings at the top of the mountain, there are three
No,
names. It's J.
no,
Cole, it's
no, no.
Kendrick, and it's Drake.
He took himself
It's
out of that, Jay. He took himself out of that. You can't talk about, okay, I'm not discrediting his lyrical ability, his pen and
no.
all that. But
Hmm.
you have now, when you on tracks, Every time I hear you on a feature or on a track, I immediately think of this dude about to apologize. I can't take you serious. I can't take you serious. I'm sorry. That's why I said this Fall Off album, it better be the best thing. It better be. He's put so much pressure on himself. It better be a classic. It better be a
Uh,
classic, Jay.
I was never expecting him to live up to classic status with his quote unquote last album that keeps getting pulled up, pushed back because
Oh, it's really good. You may not see that album till next year.
no. The whole "this is my last album" thing, it keeps getting pushed back, pushed back,
Oh, it
pushed
needs to
back.
be. This
So
needs to be his last album. All you gonna do is apologize for
I don't see. I don't think he's.
it.
See, first off, don't do my man's like that, okay?
Jay, I'm sorry.
He
I'm sorry.
he.
This
So no,
takes him down
I'm
a couple
not.
notches.
It does take him down a couple notches.
Okay.
I'm not saying I will not disagree with you on that. Like
Okay.
hip hop is competitive, and the
Right.
second you say like, "Oh, I'm not really cool with this type of competition," you know, it diminishes your esteem somewhat.
Right.
In some people's eyes, a lot.
Right.
But what I will say is his I was gonna say his reputation, but this sort of killed it. Like now, every time people talk about J. Cole, it's about yeah. Oh, you mean the brother who got into a beef then apologized for the beef, like right when the beef started? Yeah, like
Right.
it's
Right. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
rough. Like you're right. When the album comes out, he's gonna have to kill the game because yeah, ooh,
He in order
J.
to
Cole, it's
redeem
on
this
you.
apology, he's gotta do a diss track. He's gotta respond to Kendrick. And he's gotta distance himself from Drake. I'm sorry. He's gotta distance himself from Drake and he's gotta do
Honestly, what before first person shooter came out, I thought he had done that already.
they're on tour together. They were on tour
No, no, no,
together.
no, no, no. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Before like first person shooter and that whole situation came about, I felt like all right, these three people are they're all doing their own thing from a popular perspective. Drake is going to be at the top. From a hip hop perspective, it's between J. Cole and Kendrick. From an output perspective, j cole is J. Cole is outdoing Kendrick, and like we said, Kendrick, he does something different every time he drops. So
We
he's sort of his own animal on his own. So I was like, all right, J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, they've separated themselves. But if we're talking like hip hop, then J. Cole is like the most, he's at the top of the hip hop artist thing.
why? Because he puts out more music than Kendrick?
No, 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 no. Drake was a pop artist,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Kendrick is the
Kendrick
artist.
Kendrick is just an overall artist.
Right.
I wouldn't
Right, right.
even classify Kendrick as a hip hop artist. So J. Cole
Really?
was like the hip hop artist at the top. But then if
Wow.
this happens and everybody's going back to all right, we're about to keep it hip hop. Let's see what's going down. And
Right.
he basically steps down off the top and is like, "Nah, I don't want this." I mean, from a certain perspective, you could say like, "Oh, because he's at the top, he doesn't need to beef with anybody. So he's just like, you know what, I'm good, I'm out." You could say that, but that's not what you or I or most people would assume.
Right.
Obviously he's doing it for him, and I applaud him for that. Do your own thing, my guy. But it's a rough one.
Oh,
I
no, no,
can't
no,
be
no.
I
There is
can't be
no
mad
escaping
at.
this, J. Cole. No, no,
No,
no, no. You're not.
I'm not saying there's an escape for him, but I
He's out of
can't
my top
be.
three. He's out of there. He's out of my big three. We're down now to Drake versus Kendrick. Kendrick versus Drake. Get J. Cole out of here. Right? Get him. I'm sorry. Get him out of here. And
So
I love.
all right,
In the
so
comments, tell me. Huh?
who's stepping up into your big three then? If you had to have a big three, Who's stepping up into your big three?
I I
Is
have
it
to
Big
really think
Sean?
about it now. I mean, I have to really
Yeah.
think about. No, not Big Sean. Big Sean just
Okay.
no, not Big Sean. I don't know, man. Like, let me know in the comments, man. Who's stepping up in the big three if J. Cole's out of there? Let me know. Who's stepping up? Who's stepping up on that front? I love to know. I have to think about it. I can't think of anybody right now. Um,
Okay.
but I'm sorry, J. Cole is out of there right now. Right now, it's the big two. Pause. You know what I mean? So you know, J. Cole's out of there for me. This man, I always said if Drake didn't put out a good another good album, I was gonna be done with Drake. This may make me be done with J. Cole. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This may make me be done with J. Cole. But hey, neither here or there. Let me know who if you're slotting J. Cole out of there, who you putting there? Drake's crew, 21 Savage. He's got the whole Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. You know, oh boy, and
I
Drake
mean,
good at that, and Kendrick's calling him out on it.
but I've never. This might just be a me thing, but I've
Mhm.
never thought of Drake in the same vein as I thought of like a 21 Savage or any of those dudes. Like it was that's never been that's never been how I think of Drake.
Okay.
Like if he's angling to get put in those conversations, I mean, well, to be
Okay.
fair, I haven't listened to a lot of his more recent albums, and they may share some similarities with like a 21 Savage or a Lil Baby or a Lil Durk or whoever, but
Uh
I
Lil
I haven't
Durk,
been paying
Lil Baby, and
attention.
all they're not definitely in my big three. They're not even in my top 10. Not even top 20, 30, 40, 50. Nowhere near it. I'm sorry. I know that I gave them a little love on 2021, but that's probably the only props I give them.
What about the baby?
Uh
He's trying to make a comeback.
he's trying to make
If
a
you
comeback, but he needs to change up the way he's doing some things. His music.
okay.
He's another one that kind of called out J. Cole, and said, "Hey, I can do what J. Cole's doing," but like, "Hey, I ain't heard nothing yet."
I mean,
So,
he did have that one freestyle. What's it called?
yeah, but I mean, I need to hear something.
Fair. I know for a good long time, people were asking for the J. Cole Kendrick album, um, and Black Friday came out,
Right,
which was
right,
super
and I
dope.
talked about that a little earlier. That's not coming out. I'm sorry, we're not going to see the light of
Uh,
day.
I mean, they didn't do anything with it.
My kids may
I,
be in college before that album comes out.
huh?
My kids may be in college before that album comes out. That
I
album's not
mean,
coming out.
at this point, what's probably going to happen is it's going to have to be on some like Nas Jay Z stuff. Like
uh, we've been
couple
waiting.
years.
We've been waiting 10+ years for this album.
I
I
mean
don't think
that's
it's
why I'm
happening.
saying it'll be on some Nas Jay Z stuff because when was the Nas Jay Z beef? That was like what 2001, 2000.
Yeah, that was around Blueprint. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was like 2001.
yeah. But
They didn't get cool until like what 2012, 2013. So I don't even
true.
know.
I don't see it happening. I think it would have been done by now. I don't see it
I
happening.
mean, hold on. Let me see. When did Nas and Jay Z's song come out?
Which song are you talking about? The song with Kendrick Lamar? I mean, the song with DJ Khaled?
Uh, yeah, there was that one, but there was a. I feel like there was another song that came out.
Okay, so uh, 2005 is when they kind of ended their beef. About
Publicly,
40
that's when they
publicly,
say
yeah.
they ended it. They didn't do anything or really connect on anything until like
Right.
the 2010s. So
Okay. Right. To me, I don't think. I just don't think we're seeing the light of day in this album. I mean, we've been waiting this long. I mean, I'll be 90 to 100 still listening to Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Maybe we'll get it. I don't know. I just don't see it.
I don't think it, I mean it probably won't happen, but I will continue to bump Black Friday because that is a dope track.
I
But
mean, it's only 2 songs. It won't take you that long to finish listening.
of course,
All right. Drake has been borderline cringe. He has, and that's
I mean,
borderline cringe.
let's not sugarcoat this. I mean,
Okay, let's not sugarcoat this.
there have been a couple times
A
when
couple.
it when Drake smacks of desperation.
I
there have
mean,
been a
Certified
couple.
Lover Boy. That whole album was.
I mean, I was gonna go. I
Honestly,
was
never
gonna take
mind.
it.
That whole album was.
I was gonna go a little further back. Like there was the whole Rihanna situation.
Well. I mean,
There was. I feel like there was a few years where he was, and I may be wrong. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes or whatever the case. But I feel like there was a few years where uh, every other verse, he was talking about how he wanted to get with Nicki, and it was just like, look, my guy, if it ain't happened now, just let it go.
and
Um,
yeah, that's true. But and speaking of cringe, I'll say this too, right? Not only he had the worst album in 2021, he had the worst album in 2023 with For
wait,
All the
what?
Dogs.
For all the hold on. He tried to clean up for all the what's it called a little bit. He dropped a couple rap tracks. Uh, well,
A deluxe album to save his album, but it was still a bad album. It was a terrible album,
the original was super forgettable, is what I'll say.
right? I'm looking at albums that came out in 2023. Danny Brown had a good album, right? I'm not going to say the
I
name of the
haven't
album,
heard Danny Brown in a minute. Yo, he
right?
came out in 2023.
Came out in 2023, right? I'm looking at some of these albums. I don't like Gunner at all, but that album was better than For All the Dogs, right? A Gift of the Curse was better than For All the Dogs.
I
Magic
got
3,
what you.
Magic
Magic
3.
3. Okay.
I didn't like that album, but it was still better than For All the Dogs, right?
I had no issue. Magic 3 was cool.
Oh, Killer Mike's Michael was better than For All the Dogs. Come on now.
I didn't hear all of Killer Mike's Michael. I won't
Magic
front
2
you.
came out into 2023, right?
Hold on. Let's take a look at this.
I'm just looking at some of these albums and uh let's see what else we got here. I'm just gonna name one more album. Big James The Patience was better than that album,
Glorious Game.
you know? And
Black Hole.
Lloyd Banks had another album that 2023. That was better than For All the Dogs.
Okay, see, I need to. Oh, welcome to College Grove. Okay,
Oh,
let me see.
that's debatable if that album was better than For All the Dogs. They're probably on the same par.
See, first of all,
they're
let's stop
probably
disrespecting Wayne like this, okay?
they're probably they're probably on the same bar. It ain't it is what it is.
Sexy Red came out with an album. I do
No,
not.
don't mention that name on this channel, please. I don't believe you like women. I think you puff pass at them. Right? That's a shot at Sexy Red. As far as remember, Drake talked about it in another diss track, saying that um, uh, SZA slapped you, 21 Savage slapped you, and in fact, Drake just did a track with Sexy Red and SZA, right? So that's a direct shot. That's a direct response to that line. Man, oh my god.
I'm looking forward to the next round. Honestly, you know
Oh,
what's funny?
no, Drake is on the
And
clock. Drake's gonna take his time because he's like Kendrick took his time.
no, but you know what's funny? I feel like I wish the I know it got squashed by what's his name? Jay Prince, but I wish the
Oh, the
Pusha
Pusha T
T
Drake.
the Pusha T Drake thing had like
Oh,
played out fully.
no. Let me tell you something. I talked about that a little bit before. Drake ran like Hussein Bolt from Pusha T. This whole thing about like Drake had
I
a
mean,
bomb diss track. Drake, had this diss track that would destroy Pusha T's album and diss track with it is. I don't spare me with that. Spare me with that, right?
I know what I'll say
Son of Adidon was the atomic bomb, and
about.
Drake did nothing. Right? Drake did nothing. Let's just keep it real. Drake did nothing.
I mean the what made it worse is that it's a dope song. Like in
It is a
Pusha
dope
T's
song, but
discography,
did
Sons
you
of
hear a
Anidon.
response?
Um,
No.
isn't that when
Drake
Back
was
to Back
running
came
from that
out?
feud. Huh?
Hold on. Isn't that when Back to Back came out?
No, that was about Meek Mill.
Okay. I feel. Hold on. Let me
And I
look this up.
just talked about this. I was like, oh, he was on Meek Mill's case like it was nothing. But Pusha T, he was quiet. Like a little church mouse, quiet. I mean, all this stuff about Jay Prince had to, get in the loop and get in between them. All right, I understand all that. But you don't think people are in between this beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar? Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like
Absolutely.
Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick don't care at this point. I mean, like,
Right. Obviously, Drake doesn't care. Right? Show me
mm,
your percentage. I tell you about splits. That was the line with Drake. Everybody got up in arms about Drake and talking about Kendrick and Top Dog 50% and all that. Kendrick just responded to that and said, "Hey, that ain't true. Show me your splits." Because I know Drake is for sure splitting with Cash Money, Young Money, Universal. I know for a fact. If he isn't now, he was at one point, if not still today.
I
So
mean,
don't think
PG Lang is largely it's
it's Interscope.
independent.
It's
It's
Interscope.
okay. It's Interscope.
Back to back. He says, I like that record, so let me get back to that record. Right?
Hmm.
That's the Drake
Yeah.
we want to see. Okay, if you read this is too late. That's not a classic album, but I will say it's a better album, right? It's a better album.
I mean, he got his son paid a little bit, Adidas
Oh
deal. I
man.
guess maybe I
Oh.
don't see. So this might just be a me thing, but like I'm the type where I'm just not putting nobody kids in anything I do, right? Like
Right.
that might just be a me thing, but at a
Right.
certain point, it's like that's just not me. Now I will say the way Kendrick is doing it is probably the best way you could potentially do it
Oh,
because
this is a
all
jab.
he's
This is a jab. This is a
oh no,
jab.
it's a jab. I'm not saying
He
it's
ain't
not a
he ain't
jab.
really gone in. He could have. And I agree. I agree.
Yeah, he
Kendrick could have
because
really gone in.
he's basically just saying like this is what I'm doing. What are you doing? He
Right.
hasn't said like, oh, you're a deadbeat dad or anything like that. He's just saying like, hey, this is all I'm doing.
I
This
know.
is this is
Believe me, I know.
specific and focused
It's
violence.
specific and it's jabs. Right? All right. Right. Drake had that response as far as like, well, hey, 20v1, this whole thing with Rick Ross and Future and Metro Boomin. Kendrick is telling you, no. It's 1v20. No.
I mean, I would say the only the only potential I'd say response to that is either everybody coordinated their strikes at the same time,
You think that
or
happened?
I mean, well, the was like the like that song that was literally Metro Boomin and Future's song,
Right.
and
Well,
Kendrick was
Future
just
Future
there.
was dissing Drake all over that album.
Yes, I mean that's I'm not disregarding that. I'm not taking away from that.
Right.
So, but like The only reason that it doesn't feel like that from Kendrick is because that's sort of been Kendrick's MO. Like even with the control verse, which I'm bringing that up.
Right. That
Like
was
it
what, 10
wasn't
years ago? Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like that was something he was like, "Oh, I'm going to," and that wasn't even a diss, so I'm not even going to call it that.
Oh,
But
it wasn't a diss. It was a all
it
right.
was
I'm
a
calling out
challenge.
all you. It was a
Yeah,
challenge. Right.
it was
Right.
a challenge to everybody, and
Right.
he did that on somebody else's song, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
not like this is new for him to do. Like,
Right.
and the like that verse was literally him talking to Drake and J. Cole. Like it was addressing the two people who had already thrown him into some stuff. He's like, nah, bro, don't. This ain't three of us. It's just
Right.
me. Leave me, keep my
Right.
name out. But basically, that was what that was.
Right. Right.
So
Am I battling ghosts or an AI? Oh
yeah,
man, responded back to that AI track Drake put out.
I
Oh
mean,
man.
hey.
Hey. Oh boy.
So what's it called? He said, "Am I battling ghosts or
Or an AI.
or an AI?" Am
And then he had a
what's it?
line in there. What did he say here? Let's see.
He said, "It don't matter what coast we on. I'm shooting.
He said, "You don't
It
like
don't matter what
West
time it
Coast." He
is."
said, "We don't like West Coast rappers, but they don't like OVO sound. It doesn't matter. We are 3 hour difference."
Yeah. He said, "It don't matter what time zone you in. I don't care. We don't."
Oh man. Oh
He
man.
also said, You came to America to imitate heritage." I just caught that.
Right.
That was actually something that
He's from Canada.
yeah, no, but it's something that people that threw a lot of people off initially because they were
Right.
like,
Yeah.
"Who's
Yeah.
like? Oh,
That's a
he's from New Orleans. Nah, he's from Houston. Nah, he's from
yeah.
Jamaica
Yeah.
apparently." And then
Yeah.
people were like, "Nah, he's a Canadian from
Barbados.
Houston." Yeah, him and Clay Thompson.
No, Rihanna.
Him and Clay Thompson. I put Rihanna in this. I will zero smoke with Rihanna. Have
I know,
ASAP
right?
Rocky come after me for no reason. I'm
I
good.
know, right? Wow.
This is
Jeez.
this is an interesting.
Is that it? Is that it?
I'm genuinely interested in the
I
response
am
at
too.
this
I
point.
am too.
I'm
Let me see.
interested.
Is that the end of the track here? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious.
You know that's gonna be like the anthem for a little bit. That last.
Rick Ross already said it.
I mean, I'm saying, that's going to be like the chant for a little bit because what I'll say is they've like drop and give me 50.
Right.
Drop and give me 50 was a good like hook to
Right.
have.
Right.
This is a good little hook to have at the end of the song. So like
What
both of them, they're doing. They're not just dissing each other; they're actually making good music,
now? I
which
wonder
is
if Kendrick's going to come out with another diss track. Because Drake put out two. I wonder if Kendrick's going to put out two. But man, it's just I'm interested to see where this goes. Drake is on the clock for me, right?
I mean, what's funny?
Right.
Part of me, and I hope this isn't the case. This is the conspiracy theorist and the cynic in me, because like rap and hip hop haven't been this interesting in a while, right? Like a lot of people have been, worried about the state of like, oh, what's going on with rap? Like, what's about to happen? Yada yada yada.
Right.
So the one thing that I'm hoping is not the case, and like I said, this might be the cynic in me, is like they do all this back and forth diss tracks, yada yada yada, and then like I don't know, a year or two down the line, all of a sudden there's like a United Nations peace talk type album situation, and everybody's on it, just like, oh, we're cool again, and that becomes like,
Well, you know what I want, and I've told you about this. You know what I want? I want I want more diss tracks. I want these dudes to be dissing each other on features. I want music to kind of elevate itself. Like some of these bad rappers just get better, right?
I
Some of these.
mean, so speaking of, did you hear and I know you probably don't care, but it was hilarious to me. Have you been listening to the Chris Brown Quavo beef going back and forth?
Oh yeah. That's something we can review. I want to see where that goes because I feel like Quavo. I mean, Quavo responded. It wasn't a great response, but Chris Brown surprised me, right? But I think the Drake and Kendrick Lamar is overshadowing this because they're better rappers. Um,
I'll give him that.
I just feel like I mean
I
I
th-
really
I
pay I
think
paid attention to it, but it's like it's like
I
Chris
mean
Brown is
I
such
think
better, so much better. Uh, we'll kind of wrap it up here, man. I'm interested again. I'm loving where this is going. Man, like I said, Drake is on the clock. Um, so any final thoughts, Jay?
I'm waiting to see who releases the next who releases the next hit 'em up.
I think it'll be Drake. I think Drake's going to release the bomb, and then Kendrick's probably going to release the nuclear bomb, and we'll see how this goes. Because I
No,
want to
because
see.
I'm looking for when I say who's gonna release the next hit 'em up, because like
Oh, it'll be
who's gonna
Kendrick.
release? I mean, so what I mean by that is like hit 'em up is one of those songs that like yes, it was a diss track, but like it's one of those diss tracks that has lasted for a very long time. That and Ether,
Right,
right?
right, right.
Those two diss
Oh,
tracks are tracks
the
that like
timeless diss.
they are timeless. Like you throw on Ether and everybody's just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
somebody's starting beef. I don't know with who, but somebody's doing it. Like I'm interested to see who's gonna put that one out.
Make sure you follow the Let's Rap podcast. That is our channel together. Make sure you also like, share, subscribe over the Let's Rap podcast. Also, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and also comment on a lot of things we talked about today here on the live. Make sure you guys follow the Let's Rap podcast Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram down in the description box. Also, if you want your song reviewed here on the Rap Review Room show, we usually do that on Fridays. Working on that right now. Working out the kinks. Send me an email. Let me know what track you want reviewed, and we'll definitely review it here uphill on the show. All right. Uh, really appreciate you guys being here with us. And make sure you guys, like I said, follow us, subscribe here, subscribe to the Let's Rock podcast. Make sure you guys also follow J.Ecko over on Instagram, y'all.
So,
Yep. Y'all have a good one. Stay blessed.
peace.
Peace.